Hi everyone, welcome to today's Hattrick Direct live stream. This evening we will take a look at the Hattrick Masters that's starting next Monday. As you probably know, the Hattrick Masters is the most important club competition in the game, and only a few teams take part in it, those that won either the league or the cup or both in their countries. As you can see, today I'm not joined by Tassos or Johan, but that doesn't mean I will be alone. I will be accompanied by a panel of pundits, three experts in the game that will help us discover the favorite teams, the top matches in the first round, and all the relevant details. These three experts are, first of all, the man that gathers all the stats about the Hattrick Masters and shares them every season with the community in the global forum. This man, of course, is Nickarana. Hi, Nick.
Hi Chase, how are you?
Fine. Did you manage to do it?
Yes, in the end I had to use my iPad and not my laptop, but it's working good enough.
We had some technical problems, but here we are. And the second expert is the man who almost won the Manager of the Season in the Hattrick Gala. He's the winner of 2 World Cups in a row with Argentina, 1 Hattrick Masters, and he has played the Hattrick Masters 10 years in a row, which is, I think, an impressive streak that's ending this season. This guy is, of course, Hastalavictoria. Welcome, Tom.
Hey guys, good to be here. I promise Chase I will speak during this live stream why I didn't won my second Hattrick Master because of Nickarana, but we will chat a little bit about that in the future. I won the first one thanks of Papa-Mish, and I didn't won the second one because of Nickarana. Now just a little bit of Argentine joke. We will speak a bit about this in the near future. Good to be here.
Great. So the third man, you kind of made a spoiler here because he's the man who won the community award in the Hattrick Gala. He's of course a huge expert in the game. He's the creator of the Cycle Training Federation, a content creator in Twitch and YouTube, etc. The manager of Sherlock, one of the strongest teams in Israel, and he's of course Papa-Mish. How are you, Mish?
Hey, I'm great. It's awesome to be here with Tom and Nick and yourself. So let's have fun.
Let's have fun. So a new Hattrick Masters is starting next Monday. I guess we will all agree that it's the hardest club trophy to win in the game, especially because with only a bad seeding or a bad game or an unlucky match, you're out. So it's hard to predict who will win, but do you guys have any favorite teams to lift the trophy this season? Maybe Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I would say one for me would be ER Lakshmi. I think he's been a really strong team for a long time, led by Eugene, and he's had very tough luck the last 2 seasons, playing really tough opponents in early rounds and losing matches he deserved to win. But I think he's going to bring it all to the cup, and I think he has a good shot. Another would be Hastalavictoria's country mate, Picante. You know, is the strongest team in the world right now by the numbers, and I think those is another one that has a really strong chance and has also had a lot of experience in Hattrick Masters. Had some good runs previously.
What about you, Tom? Do you have any favorite teams? Picante as well?
Well, Picante always has a great team, really great team. We don't have some kind of rivalry in Argentina, and the only time we met in the Hattrick Master, I won 5-1. It was in season 82, I think it was, Nick. It was one of the, or 81 maybe. It was one of the top 8 stats matches. I think it's top 8 or something like that in the Hattrick Master. But yeah, he does have a great team. Not so sure why at Hattrick Master he doesn't do it so good. Sometimes it has to it's related because of his trading strategy. He's a really big trader. He's one of the top trader. I don't know how he does it, but he always builds this monsters team. But yeah, I do think that this time might be his time.
We're losing Nick.
Nah, we'll
Meanwhile,
get him back.
No, I just was I was warm with my sweater. That's all.
and Unish, what do you think? Any favorites?
I'll just say that if I'll be warm and I'll need to take out my sweater, I'll do it live on stream. I won't cover the camera. But well, first of all, a lot of interesting and good teams, and I'm always looking at Nick's stats. I don't have a favorite for my own at the moment because sometimes friends from around the world are playing, and I'm just rooting for them. I would say I maybe have a few teams that I hope that want to win because as Tom said, like all those massive traders, they're making so much money, and it's stuff like they're beating you with your wallet. So uh, it's not easy to play against them. But if we'll look at the method of elimination, like okay, we'll take out traders, we'll take out long shot teams. Who are we left with? Maybe like 2-3 teams that could win. But I'm kidding. I hope we'll just have a very good campaign here, an interesting tournament. There are a few
You know what
controversial names.
you know what surprised me, and Nick and Papa, you might know the story. Why isn't Jude Lins here?
What?
The Austrian team. Did he qualify this time?
Which
No,
one?
Jude
dude.
Lins, the monster
The
team.
dude. No.
Dude.
Yeah.
No, the dude had a very, very strong team. He won the cup in Austria 2 seasons ago, and last season he was playing in the second division, and he didn't win the
Okay.
cup. He did promote to
Okay.
the Premier Division, and probably we'll see him a lot in the Hattrick Masters from now on. But yeah, super strong team. The very weird strategy with having so many goalkeepers, like I don't know, 20-30 goalkeepers, and he had a team that was worth over 300 million euros, and then he started selling them and building the most expensive team in the world. Very strong, of course. A different financial strategy. Not playing at the Hattrick Masters this time. Last season, he was one of the favorites. You could ask Nick.
Yeah. I mean, it's because his team is very young as well. The team is only like average age 29 or something. So it's part of why they're only in the second division.
This conversation, guys, is bringing me some memory. You might not remember it, but on season 79, you were doing the same stream at Papa-Mish Twitch with Nick, and Nick definitely said that he was pretty confident that I will be the Hattrick Master back-to-back winner. After that moment, I lost in round 6 with an unpredictable in my how do you say in English that the unpredictable goal, your own unpredictable own goal, which is pretty rare. So
Extremely
I would
rare.
say that if I will be picante right now, I will be bringing some anulo mufa Argentinian style. You know, anulo mufa is something like
garlic, everything.
Bringing garlic to you and all that stuff. So, well, let's see if the story repeats.
So as we can see here, we have the stats that Nick provided us in the global forum. And can you explain a little bit, Nick, especially what the HT score is, so that we can understand these stats?
Yeah, so for the HT score, I built a model, a machine learning model, basically using the inputs of the ratings of the match to get a score. So there's a score for each match, and then those scores are built up to build the score for the team strength score. So the main point of the model is try to predict future matches. So that's how it's calibrated. So it adjusts as well for things like being at home and away, man marking, things like this that are helping to make it more accurate. Also, it can be thought of as similar to hat stats, but a difference from hat stats would be the hat stats, for example, each point counts the same. So if you go from rating 12 to 13, that's worth 4 hat stats. But in this, each point is worth a little bit less. So going from 10 to 11 is worth more than going from 11 to 12, is worth more than going from 12 to 13. And so in this way, it kind of makes more sense, right? And then the balance between the ratings is a little different. That midfield is weighted more, and actually defense is rated second most. And so, but the way the ratings are going, it's trying to force to something interesting that came out of the model is it tries to force to a certain balance of midfield to defense to attack. That kind of as you move away from that ideal balance, then it starts to penalize you in the model. Also, it has a different algorithm for CA and long shots. So that's something like hat stats can't really handle so easily.
Mhm. That's, well, impressive
The
work.
head stats is like the Hattrick Bitcoin. It was the
Yes.
first one to be really major, and everyone are looking at this because we love numbers and trying to break the 500 rating, 600 rating, then 700 rating, which was just done recently in a single match. That's pretty amazing. Nick's HTS is more precise. It's better, and also when you are playing man marking or someone is man marking you, it doesn't lower the ratings. On the other hand, head stats is already integrated in Foxtrick, so everyone sees this. And also, when I'm analyzing things, we are speaking in head stats numbers, but HTS is more precise.
Mhm. Okay, so if you look at this table, we have the chances in the first column is the chances to win the Hattrick Masters for each team, right? And
Yes.
I've been taking a look at this, and I see that some teams have better HTS than other teams that have like a different percentage. That it looks like strange, but I guess it's also related to the team they are facing on the first round, right, Nick?
That's right. Yeah, it adjusts for this. Basically, it considers the chance in round one, and then it effectively simulates what's their chance to win against every team,
Mm-hmm.
and then says how often would you win in the end, forcing it to be 100% for all teams. So an example, like number 9 Viatic and number 12 Siat play each other, so they have about 50% chance each to win, and they both have a quite a bit lower chance to win the Masters because it makes sense if you draw a very tough opponent in round one, your odds have gone down quite a lot.
So, of course, these stats will change in the second round. So we can see what you had just mentioned, the matches in the first round, which let me see if I can find them. I think it's
While you search for it, Chase, I was about to ask something to Nick, which is, doesn't the HTS this season looks a little bit lower than past seasons? Do you have any statistics about that?
Yeah, let me try to let me think about that. I think that the teams at the very top are quite high, but there have been teams higher. I think about the peak of it is around 580 rating for a team, and this season it's only reaching about 550, 560. So it is there. It's not quite as high of a number one peak this season as it is in other seasons.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
yeah,
So
let me look at that and come back. Yeah.
Oh, we
So-
can highlight Sorna's comment. Hattrick
yeah,
superstars all in one stream. Thank you, HG Chase, for making this happen.
yeah. Well, we have superstars. We don't have Tassos and Johan today, but I mean, we've seen them a lot, right? So yeah, now we
I'm
have.
happy Sargo is not here. No, just kidding. That's a joke.
Yeah, your rival in the Manager of the Season award. So we have these matches in the first round. The one you mentioned, Nick, Viatic with Siat. It's really probably the most tight match out of in the top teams, right?
Yeah, for sure. They're both, very top teams. I'm interested in the one that the next match. I think that Forza Jody is actually underrated by HTS. So a weakness of HTS is that it doesn't consider special events or certain other parts of the team scores. And Forza Jody has Belgium is one of the top leagues in the world. He continues to win in Belgium over and over. I've interacted with him a lot in the forums, and know he's a very strong manager. And I think his team is really probably closer to the top 10 than being number 33. So I think that match may actually be even better. And the same for being the Romanian champion, right? If you've got the Romanian champion versus the Belgian champion, that's a very top match by definition.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. Very strong leagues.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a shame also that there are some of the strongest teams in the world that did not qualify for this Hattrick Masters. Not only, of course, Hastalavictoria, El Comandante, but the one we were talking about before, Dude Linz. I mean, I think it's the strongest team in the world. With if we take HT score into account, and we're also missing the last season's finalist, FC Mistral Gagnon, which is number 5 in the world. So, what do you think? You think that these teams would have made a much better Hattrick Masters, or is it okay like that?
No, I think that's the format. It's very difficult to also qualify to the Hattrick Masters unless you are completely dominating in a small country. If you are playing in the major leagues, and we are speaking like Tom's team in Argentina, tough division. Austria, definitely a difficult countries. So for the Dudlins, it was either the cup or nothing. Here he'll have the league and also the cup to qualify, so he'll definitely made it. He'll make it. I think it's okay for now. Definitely, if they were playing the Hattrick Masters this season, they would be immediately one of the favorites to win.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see something being more like the Champions League is, where the bigger leagues get more teams, right? I mean, definitely the second or third best team in Belgium is usually going to be better than the best team in most of the small countries, right? Or the same for Italy or any of the large leagues. I don't know how you do that though in a fair way, or how do you determine that, from the league, or there is something about it being all or nothing, right? That is nice, and makes it's working well now. But yeah, it is true. It could be nice to have some of the stronger teams if they're using some kind of objective rating. I think if we use power rating, it would add a lot of long shot teams. So I think we need some other way.
But for now, what's special about this format with a single elimination knockout, when you need also some luck to win? Let's say when you do win it, it's the best feeling in the world. And we could ask Tom, like, with all the struggle, with everything, eventually to bring this title home, with all the difficulties to qualify and for everything, this is the peak.
It was incredible. It was incredible. I remember not everyone was aware that my team was not. I mean that I was not Nicaraguan. I was Argentinian, having my second team in Nicaragua. And I remember some guys from a local radio asking me to go live there, and they wanted to put the story on the front page of their site. It was a lot of people asking me where I live in Nicaragua to come and celebrate. Yeah, it was madness. I remember it was madness, and it was even more madness because I didn't that season 78. I didn't feel I was prepared to win it. My team was really young at that age, at that time. So it was really a surprise. If you would ask me maybe one season later or 2 seasons later, I would say that I would have had a top team. But at that time, I didn't expect it. So it was really, really, really madness. It was incredible. Also, too, for Argentina, because Argentina didn't have an Hattrick Master winner at that time. So it was a revolution. Personally, I would say that I enjoyed more the World Cup than the Hattrick Master. But I think that was something particularly from Argentina. We came from winning Qatar, and after that we won Hattrick. But if you take that away, I would say that yeah, winning the Hattrick Master is the most that you can achieve in Hattrick.
Well, I guess if you win the World Cup with your country, you have the whole country behind you, supporting you and cheering for it and celebrating probably more than when you win as your club.
Yeah, but the really nice story about the Hattrick Master, it was that a lot of people from around the world were really happy, really happy. I was not so participative in forums, so a lot of people start to discover me. And well, Papa was Papa and his wife. I will tell a little bit of why his wife is my lucky charm. She started dancing at the. Do you remember that, Papa? At the
Yeah,
end
something.
of she. I was tying the
She
match.
also speaks Spanish, so that's pretty cool.
She does.
So she's rooting for a lot of Spanish speaking teams.
and I was I really deserved to won that final. I was playing against a contractor team, but I was tying 2-2, and Papa-Mish's wife appeared at the stream, and I scored a goal through a set pieces keeper, set pieces shooter, which never has been my big a big strong from my side. So yeah, I always say that I won it because of your wife, Papa. So being part of that stream, knowing a lot of people from around the world, that made that Hattrick Master special. The World Cup, of course, it was a really great happiness for all of us, but it was something just focused in Argentina,
Okay, so let's see the teams the top 10 teams that are playing this year that have played most consecutive Hattrick Masters. If you had qualified, Tom, for this year, you would be right there at the top, I think. Let's see if Nick can say something, because I think he's a little bit distracted, right?
Hi, yes, I am a little bit distracted. We didn't make it from the bath to bedtime. Hold on one second.
No, it's
Okay.
even better this way.
Yes, it's better, yeah. Yes, well, you see, most of them are from small countries, right? I mean, that's the only way you can really build up the really long streaks. And then sometimes you get these teams that will, in the past, that have gone for 15 seasons, 20 seasons, because in a small enough country, you have the league and the cup. Maybe there's only 3 or 4 really competitive teams, and you can have such a big advantage that, yeah. The one I know the best is Panarosa Bramante. I was in San Marino the first year. I won the cup the first season. I think I'm the only other one to win the cup other than other than him. And so I know, yeah, he's a big trader, and it's a pretty competitive league actually. There are some, but he still manages to get there every season. So I'm always rooting for him. We became close during being in San Marino in the early days.
And I think he's leading one of these statistics, right?
Yes. Yes.
I just played.
Yeah. So yeah, most matches in the last 10 seasons, and he's managed to get of the teams who are playing, right? So of course, like El Comandante would have more, Los Serenos would have more, many teams would have more, but yeah, he has the most.
Only big country here is Finland with Namakala, and he has a lot of matches because he actually won the Hattrick Masters, so he has 8 at that
exactly.
season.
So he played in 3 and he won once.
Yeah, of course, that is something to take into account. And
well, Barack Osama, because Peru, you can consider Peru a small country, maybe a middle one, and Barack Osama always do a pretty good work, long term planning, long term training, pretty well established, and he always remains competitive. I would say he's kind of an outlier.
Yeah, Pinoy Brazila in the Philippines is competitive for long periods of time as well. Of course,
Good.
Orda
Yep.
Balorda and Juj Factor. Obo Park Pirates, a former winner.
Yeah, they also won. Yeah, the one about Finland, they've always had. It's not as deep of a league, but they've always had really top elite teams. You know, they had FCQ, I think they were called. Well, I'm doing what I can. Uh, yeah. So on there, come on, give me a sec. All right. And no, there's a team there of Cito Polio. That's
Yeah.
he's going to retire this season. So he's won Hattrick Masters before. He's played many times, and this will be his last season. He's announced that the last competition he'll do is the Hattrick Masters. He's not really trying the league or the cup. He's just putting everything into the Masters. So I really hope he gets past round one. That'll be good for the entertainment factor in the thread.
Of course. What about you, Tom? Is your team kind of going into a rebuild phase, or
Yep.
because I mean, 10
Reveal phase with some homegrown players. The same that I did last time. Just this time focusing in powerful normal forwards. I did have a great beast that came out of my home ground, which on the other hand is something that I really think it's another advantage from the for the small countries teams, which is you usually get better homegrown players than a big country. So yeah, I'm starting the same. Hopefully, we can see the commandant again in let's say 8 seasons, and return to claim the throne of the most the continuous presence at the Hattrick Master. Because I think Nick, it was 11 seasons in a row that I was playing, something like that. You know that number
Yeah.
better than me.
It was 11, and this would have been number 12, although they were quite old. I can't believe he made it last year. They were almost 37 years old.
Yeah, it was very funny. But that's the nice thing of having a great team with a lot of homegrown players, because you do have A, the homegrown loyalty, and B, the experience of the NT, which at the end made my
Which you
players
get
really
pretty
competitive.
early, yeah.
Yeah, my players started playing at the NT at 28, 29. Not because I was the coach of Nicaragua, no. They were really great players. And at the end, if you have players with 30 level experience at 30, 36, 37 years old, and if you don't get many injuries, you are still somehow competitive.
What about you, Mish? What are your plans? I mean, you have a very strong team now.
Yeah, my main team, my first build ever was over a decade ago when I started with no money at all. My initial budget was 4 million euros, and I managed to reach the final, the Masters, like 5 times with that team. I won 6 titles with one double, and the best I did in the Hattrick Masters with that team was round number 5, which was pretty good, but I was knocked out. And now I'm really rebuilding this, as Tom said. Like, I have beasts in the midfield from homegrown, and the team is almost ready. I do need to round up the squad with maybe 2 more positions, and but already now I'm intending to promote to the Premier Division this season. I hope to win a first title within 2 seasons, and then start playing at the Hattrick Masters. And we'll see. I'll talk to Tom and Nick about the fine tuning that I'll need to do, because with Black Sabbath, my second team, I reached the quarterfinal of the Hattrick Masters. I was screwed in the quarterfinal, so I really had a nice chance. I think I could go all the way. It didn't happen. Now Black Sabbath and my third team, Sneaky Cat in Ethiopia, are rebuilding, so it will take a time, but I'll reach there again. And I was part of Nick's special statistics with my second team, I think it was either the unluckiest team or the team who played the most amount of Hattrick Masters without winning a single match. It was with the Sneaky Cat. I think it was like 7 seasons that I didn't win a single match, despite having at some of them nice ratings. And then when my players were very old and my last competitive season there, I knock out 2 pretty good long shot teams. And then I was out, of course.
And
But
in
yeah,
fact,
Sherlock is gonna go.
Do you remember what happened with the Sneaky at season 78? Who did
Yeah,
you
of course.
lost
I
against?
only lost to the champion.
So this is good. This is good. You're almost the champion. You could have faced it in the final.
Definitely. And I did a pretty good lineup there.
You were unlucky, or you
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't even
No,
close.
you were defensive, but you lost only 2-0, I remember.
Yeah.
I was expecting a huge team confident race, and I didn't have it.
So hopefully I'll be one of the champions in the future.
Yeah. What do you think it takes to win the Hattrick Masters?
So I have a small list here
Mm-hmm.
of
Okay.
what it takes, and I'm happy that that Tom and Nick are here with me to complement. But what I think, first of all, you could call it a lot of different things, but a Hattrick Masters champion, he needs to have money, an initial budget to actually do this. Then he needs a plan. It's more difficult to do this how Dude Linz is doing it, and of course he has so much money, so he is buying all the players. But usually you just need money, not as much as the Dude. Then you need a plan to build your team. As Tom is saying, like starting from young players with homegrown like bonus, it's one of the X factors, but it's money, plan, then tactics. You need to understand how to play the game. You need to understand how to prepare, how to read your opponent. Without this, well, in the forums for years, we are sometimes laughing at teams that like he traded, he made a lot of money, he bought good players, he doesn't know what to do with them. And probably last one before the X factors is luck. You need some luck.
Yeah, that's clear. And there's a question here for you. Why do you have a lot of unpredictable players?
Really, I have a lot of unpredictable players. Sometimes, no, I'm kidding. There are teams with a lot of unpredictable players. Sometimes they are specializing in play creative. One of the former Hattrick Masters, the Rodenberg, did this, and he was always playing play creative. I'm not saying that's a must-have tactic. I don't even think I have a lot of unpredictable players. I have an unpredictable inner midfielder, homegrown, and unpredictable winger. And then the third one that I have in the defense is a roundup player. I'm not sure I'm going to even keep him. It's a good speciality, but even if I'll have 3 players in the starting 11 of unpredictable, I wouldn't say it's a lot. If I have others in my squad, it's just temporary players. They are not here to stay for now.
Okay, so because Nick just published today in the forum the stats about special events, and I think it's a good moment now to share them.
Yeah.
What does it say, Nick? I mean, what does this piece of statistics really mean? Because there are lots of numbers here, but there's one thing that clearly stands out, right?
Yeah, I think, well, so about what is the table showing, I think looking at the last 5 columns, what I did is I took all the matches from beginning of last season for each team, only took matches with at least 300 hat stats so that you're not bringing in a bunch of 9-0 matches against weak teams, and then looking at how many special events did they score, how many did their opponent have, how many special events do they have, and how many did they score. And so we don't usually have these kind of stats to look at teams like this. I'm working on a feature like this for my website to be able to look at any team this way. and then decided to play around with this as part of the Hattrick Masters. And I was surprised to see this team banana stand. I mean, they have over 3 special events per game, and they managed to score 1.61 goals per game from special events, which is an enormous amount. I mean, in the next post on the other end, there were a couple teams that didn't score any special events in 2 seasons, right? And they still managed to make Hattrick Masters, and this guy's getting 1.5 goals a game. So it's pretty incredible. And he's got in there. He plays creative. He does play creative every single match, and yeah, it's something I'm exploring with my team, Las Ranas Descontentas. I'm trying to build a special event optimized team. I haven't invested enough money in the team that it's actually gonna, reach Hattrick Masters or anything, but I'm using it more as an experiment to see, okay, how far can I push the advantage? And I don't think I'm gonna get much further than he has with having a 0.9 goal advantage each game. He gets almost a 1 goal advantage a game from just special events.
Nick, I wrote you in the chat a name of a team, Keltoy Vigo from Spain. I encountered him quite a lot in the ladder with Sherlock, so we have a nice rivalry there. And he's specializing in special events. He's playing play creative all the time. He has a lot of quick players, not unpredictable players, and he's getting a lot of special events all the time. He's playing out of defense, like massive attack and midfield. So we are countering each other all the time. Different like strategies, games, and stuff like this. But yeah, another team that is really specializing. It's the team of DHT Oscar.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know who Oscar is.
And in fact, and thanks to your statistics, Nick, of course, after 2 World Cup wins in Argentina, we're facing a lot of teams that are playing against us with, for example, 4-5-1 press, in order not to hit their team confidence a lot. And yeah, we have been playing a lot with 2-5-3 with, let's say, 5 or 6 quicks on from midfields to the top, and the rest all unpredictables. We are not taking a lot of effort to stop the opponent special events, but to create our own and to ensure that we do have the biggest conversion rate. And it's working pretty great. We have played above 50% of our matches in the round 1 of the World Cup with that tactic, and we didn't lose any. No, I'm sorry, we just lose 1, but it was because the opponent did a pin that we were not expecting. But it's working really great.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's the same strategy I'm using, is quicks up front, unpredictable and back, and see how far I can take it.
Here's an interesting question. How do you think, guys, what teams have better chances to win the Hattrick Masters nowadays, in your opinion? Long shots, balance, etc. What do you think? I guess,
first of all, hey, Salnas, he's a great manager.
I guess AIA, it's AOA, right? All out attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think balanced.
Balanced.
Yeah.
I do think there is something that has not been a lot of taking advantage of at the Hattrick Master, and it is the 4-4-2 counterattack. I have not seen a lot of teams playing that way, and not just for the Hattrick Masters, also for the supporter tournament and the global ladder. And I do think that's a shame, a hidden shame. The 4-4-2 counterattack, if it's
Chile
well
won 2
built.
World Cups
Chile won. We did the first one against Portugal that way, and but at a team level, that strategy is not being used. My hypothesis is that the teams that reach the Hattrick Master does not necessarily needs to build a great counterattack strategy. But if you will have a great 4-4-2 counterattack the Hattrick Master, I would say that you can do a great surprise. And I'm trying to build something like that with my C team.
I think that we've seen that the very top teams, they don't tend to change their formation, right? They just play a balanced formation. they're super strong, and see if you can beat me, you know, and they're going to be favored at least 60% to win. And, you know, that's the optimal way to play the game. But I think that the teams that manage to win who don't have that strength, usually they are quite flexible in their tactics and manage to pull surprises with being able to, it may not playing a counter attack, but also with the man marking, you know, using all the tactical tools at their disposal. Then sometimes those teams can put themselves where they, you know, they get a lucky draw, and then they find a way to be competitive in the 2 or 3 matches. They play a stronger team, and that's how some of these teams have managed to win that are not one of the elite teams.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I do think that the strongest team that usually use their main formation, one of the most important things, it's the tactical aspect. You need to have conditional changes in case, basically the most important, if you are behind. If you are ahead, usually you could stay at the same formation because you're already better. If you want to play it safe, you could go to a more defensive formation, either a 4-4-2 or a 4-5-1, doesn't really matter. But the main thing, like if you are starting balance, it's usually the 3-5-2. But if you are not in the lead or you are behind, and if you don't change to a more attacking formation, either the Norwegian 2-5-3 or the 3-4-3, but get more attack, that's a preparation problem.
Yeah, the good thing about the 4-4-2 counter attack is that it doesn't, for these teams that maybe like us, that we are not traders and you don't have a lot of money for wages. The 4-4-2 counter attack is pretty responsible in terms of budgeting, you know, because you don't have a lot of inners. And at the end, if you see the meta game, playing the 4-4-2 counter attack, you don't depend that much on the chances generated on, because at the end, if you have a bad match and your opponent has significantly more chances than the one that he should have because of the match in shine, after that you do have the counter attacks. And the other side, if you do have your chances created, you usually have better attack slash defense ratings. So I do think there is a really good thing to create top teams with a 4-4-2 counter attack that not a lot of people is taking advantage of.
Mhm. There's this comment here. We are seeing 4-4-2 counter-attack being strong in national level, home and away. So I think it kind of supports your point.
By the way, Bing is a former English national team coach, a very strong one. He
So
did
he
a lot
does.
of campaigns, and he's like really saw England going strong and building great prospects and players. And in Black Sabbath, I had 2 English wingers, so we were talking. I even did an interview with him.
Good. And one of the things that Tom was mentioning is also money. You mentioned it as well. You need money. So we could take a look at the salaries of the teams to see the top 10. And, well, they pay quite a lot. I mean, I cannot afford that with any of my teams. But if I remember correctly, Jude Lind reached 2 million, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he reached almost 2 million. But again, if with the financial restrictions and money going to reserves, you need a way, like the way he circumvented this was having a lot of goalkeepers and then selling all of them and having a lot of players. He has more players and more expensive players than the best national team in the world. And every time that he needs, he could sell 1 or 2 players. And yeah, he is burning his team value. But this way, he's maintaining all the salaries and everything that he needs. And last season, in one of the Hattrick Masters matches, and Nick will confirm, he had the hardest opponents and a lot of struggles, and he still reached the quarterfinal. I think in one of the matches, his top goalkeeper was injured. Usually, this is a death sentence to someone, and he just had another entry-level goalkeeper on the bench. So yeah. By the way, I have one more, I think, Dutch team that's paying 2 million euros in salaries, but they are still in the goalkeeping phase. They didn't buy anyone yet.
So copying dude.
Yeah, I think they didn't copy him now because to build this strategy it will take you years. But he probably did the same as him, but started a little bit later. I will not comment on on those super high salaries because Sherlock right now is paying almost 1 million euro, but that's because my players are not enjoying the salary reduction. So I'm really waiting for this because I don't have the dude's budget.
So you would be at the top of this list.
If I like probably like fourth, maybe fifth.
It would be great, Chase. Wouldn't it be great to see Papa champion of the Hattrick Master?
You what?
Of course, yeah, that would be nice. Yeah,
I'll do my
It
best.
would be great.
that would be great for
What
Mister
you
to
don't
get a
have
win one day.
to, what you have to do, Papa, is ensuring that Nick doesn't say that you're the favorite. That's the only thing that you have to.
I won't talk to him for 4 months, and that's it.
I would hope that I could play again. I'm never going to have the patience to build such a strong team, but if I got to play one more time, that would be nice with one of my teams.
By the way, Nick, do you remember the average ages of those teams? Do they pay so much salary because the players are young, or they have a very wide roster?
Jose and Royborn, his average age like 28. Deportiva Riojas 29. Fourth Judy's 30. Yeah, they're all between 28 and 30 average age.
So they are also not enjoying the salary reduction too much.
Yes, but then also Holcim Reborn is doing something weird. I didn't get a chance to look closer, but he has 38 players that seem to be like, with at least 10,000 TSI. So it must be some kind of trading gold bar sort of. I don't know what exactly he's doing.
Yeah, he's the team clearly with the biggest amount of players by far, with 38. There's another team with 34, which I don't know if
he also has almost $1 million salary. That they are Marmusa. So.
So why do you think they have so many players? They trading?
It would have to be, right? I didn't look closer, but I assume it's a trader if they have more than about 20 players. You can't really productively use more than that number of players and keep them in form.
Because
Holcim has like at least 16 top players, which is a lot of subs. And then I guess he still has trading, a lot of trading.
Because you're taking into account all the players, right? Even if they have
I took every player that has a 10,000 TSI or higher. It's trying to have a balance of an easy threshold. But as players get older, 10,000 TSI can still be a pretty good player. Can still be a playable player if they're 36, 37 years old. So, yeah.
So that's a lot of players then, even if they have some. Because there's another interesting thing, because we're talking about transfers. There's another nice stat about transfers, because it's kind of linked also to the money. And we see again the same team, Holcim Reborn.
Yeah, that's the amount of money they paid for their team, for the players. And that's pretty crazy. You could see Holcim. He paid not as much as the dude. The dude paid like between 250 and 300 million, but still 200 million for a team. This is crazy amount of money. And just to put everything in the right context, with a financial director, you could store 25 million. That's it, 25. So he actually paid 8 times or 9 times more than the allowed budget that you could like have without trading or doing something else. Second place is Real Madrid. He's probably a Turkish either champion or cup holder, and
Yes,
he's a controversial team because 2 seasons ago there was a big issue with the way that he won the championship in the last round.
it was actually last season, right? I think this is why.
I think 2 seasons ago.
Oh, sounds like really,
Probably he won again, but I think
yeah,
last
true.
season, yeah.
2 seasons ago, yeah.
And he's back here, and also Diarmar Musa is Peo, the Italian famous wing trader, and he was at one of the streams as well.
That's an interesting question for you guys. I have been super passive recent years and I have collected like 100 million euros. Is this good to get back with an okay team and compete on high level? This is why we have a panel of pundits here.
Yeah, 100 million. It's a great amount of money. You could build a super strong team. That's practically more or less the budget that I have rebuilding Sherlock, and it will be one of the strongest teams in the world. But again, if you just want to buy players with 100 million, probably most of the money is in the reserve, so might be problematic. By the way, Krasnik, a Polish manager, a very, very good trader as well. That would be problematic. But if you want to rebuild like Tom is doing, like other teams is doing with homegrown players, 100 million will be a great amount to complement this. And you could use the time to take a financial director and start dragging the money out of the reserves. And yeah, great amount of money to build a good team, a great team.
But mate, related to this question, something, because I've been trying to understand what Dude has done, which is the part of the goalkeepers is pretty logical. But what I don't get is he also buys player at 28 years old, something like that. That's the average, the competitive players that he uses for the HTM. And my question is, after he start burning their goalkeepers, does he start training something to maintain the market value of their top players, or not? He just plays with loyalties bonus, and with that he maintains the competitiveness.
Like if we're speaking about the Dude, we should ask him. From the players that I seen that he is buying and selling, I'm not really sure. He's buying almost a complete player, so probably he could either train passing, he could train set pieces. Everything goes. If he feels like he needs to give a little bit more playmaking, it doesn't really matter. And as now his team in the Premier Division, probably he'll choose the training according to the formation he needs to play this week. I don't think with the amount of money that he has stored in players, he doesn't need to maintain the value. He doesn't care. Like he wants to spend it to win the Masters. And
I mean, about the original question about the 100 million, looking at the teams that are in Hattrick Masters, about 1/3 spent 100 million or more on their transfers. So that, it shows it's a pretty good threshold of, if you want to be in one of the top teams, then yeah, that would be almost kind of a starting point, right? Because a lot of teams will have spent more than that. Also, in terms of salary, you have to lose money on salary for some years, right? To be able to, so you have to budget for that as well. Something like half the teams have at least 500,000 weekly salary, which means at some point when they were in Division 2, 3, they were losing money likely when they had even higher salaries before they reached the top. So you have to budget it to budget as well for that. and probably don't actually have 100 million for the team. Of course, you can make money potentially later. You know, you have more seasons where you're getting profit.
Especially
I
at the
think
beginning.
yeah, especially at the beginning. So it is a pretty good. I mean, it shows that yeah, it's maybe not enough to get to the very top, but it's it's clearly high enough to have potential. I did a study once looking at a number of countries, seeing what was the amount of money that the people had spent, and it was pretty clear across the board across different countries that yeah, people don't really win the league. You could win the cup with a lower amount and get a bit lucky, but winning the league in a mid-sized or larger country, you've really got to be spending at least north of that, at least 100 million, because it's quite rare that someone manages to win the league with less money. The main way is long shots. You can do it with long shots. You can spend significantly less money, or like a total homegrown. Then maybe you can get away with a bit less. If you've got a super homegrown team.
There's a question regarding how to, I guess, get rich, and is future coaches still a thing with some of these top squads? Because Hattrick tried to know if this strategy, are the changes working? What do you think? Have you taken a look at how these teams have, like?
Yeah, they're definitely working. Future coaches, we cannot say that they are a really good gold bar right now. You could definitely use some of them when you are not competitive to store money, but the players they could get older, they could get injured. It's not as safe as it was before, and I was always against this. When Black Sabbath, my second team, was very competitive in the Hattrick Masters, I was always battling against those future coach gold bars, and it was very difficult. So I don't think future coaches are gold bars right now, or at least you cannot store infinite amount of money in them.
And there's this question as well. It says, I have been at Hattrick since 2016, doing everything wrong, like me. Would goalkeeper training be a good long-term plan? Long-term plan, I guess. What do you think? I don't know if he means like, dude, or just
Everything could work if you do it the right way. First of all, I wanna commend you for playing since 2016 and keep going as long as you can. A team won the Hattrick Masters, building their whole strategy around a homegrown goalkeeper. Of course, they trained like goalkeeping, defense, and set pieces, using the time to train players for profit and then buy other players. And eventually, he did it. Now, Makala, he did it a few seasons ago. He's playing in the Hattrick Masters right now. It was very weird when he won the Hattrick Masters. His team was quite young. I think the average age was 28, 29, or maybe 30, but no more. And it was very weird, because usually you need this experience on their player. One of the X factors to win the Hattrick Masters is like every match you could have a nerve event, and you don't want this nerve event to go against you. So you need the experience. The team was quite like younger than today. He's playing in the Hattrick Masters with still his homegrown goalkeeper. That's a damn good goalkeeper, and you could do the strategy. If you just want to train goalkeeping all the way, probably not, because you need to complement this with other trainings.
What I would say to complement what Papa was saying is, yeah, a goalkeeping can work, a goalkeeping long-term plan can work, but the best thing to do is, if you want to ensure that you will be successful, is to copy the national team's training plans. So if you reach those levels on a national team, and you do what Papa was saying, that to reach a goalkeeping level, you have to start with goalkeeping, after that doing defense, after that set pieces, you will ensure that you will have a top class goalkeeper, and the everything else that you have done will help us to reach amount of money to be competitive. So empty training plans are a great guide to build a really competitive team.
There's another question. Thank you, Distiller, for asking it shorter, because you wrote like a very long text, and if I highlighted it, it would have covered the whole screen. So, do you think a team playing with inner midfield towards wings can aspire to win the Hattrick Masters?
Yes.
Definitely.
Definitely. The most important position in the game at this moment, both inner midfield toward wing and winger toward middle. In fact, that's the way I won my Hattrick Masters. So definitely yes.
By the way, I have a message that I got from Specky. Specky, he has a team in Ethiopia. After Sneaky Cat was getting too old, he took over the country, and I think he didn't miss a single title. He's playing a lot of seasons in the Hattrick Masters consecutively, and he has a really nice team, and he's making a lot of money skill trading and trading. And he told me something interesting about Holcim. We were speaking about them. They paid the most amount of money on their players with their Holcim Reborn team, and he's saying, "Oh, that's just a fun project for him." He already won the Hattrick Masters with his first team in the past, and that team there was worth 700 million. So yeah, you could probably, it was maybe before financial restrictions or with gold bars, something like this, but he already won the Hattrick Masters with the main team from Belgium. Very difficult, very strong. And now it's a fun project. One of the strongest team in the Hattrick Masters right now.
Okay, another question.
Becky.
To build a top-level team and fighting for the Hattrick Masters, you have to be necessarily a good trader. And the question is, don't you think both aspects, top-level team and good trader, are connected to be successful in Hattrick? I would say
I might be an outlier. Nick can tell more about this, but I might be the worst trader in Hattrick right now. So I can be the living proof that if you have a good team, you don't have to know how to trade.
That's good. It's a good, piece of, I would say, evidence that you don't need to be a good trader. Okay,
yeah, it definitely helps. Any amount of money could help you. I really hate trading. It's so time consuming, and definitely when you're getting older and you have a family, you rely more on a good plan and on maybe a better financial preparation at the start, and not on trading. But whoever trades well, he has another advantage. But hopefully you don't. It's not a must thing to win.
By the way, I looked back at FC Holcim from the past because I didn't remember him, and yeah, so he played for 7 seasons, 7 out of 8 seasons from season 41 to 48. He won it in season 41. So yeah, he has. It was a while ago, but yeah, he won.
Yeah,
And
it's
really
this is
the
a
fourth
while
in a
ago,
row.
and before the financial restrictions.
Before that, yes, yeah, definitely, it's in the pre-financial restrictions when he has some crazy ratings here too.
So we have now a couple of questions, 2 or 3 questions in a row that are more or less related to each other. Especially, we could start with this one for Papa-Mish. Are homegrown players necessary to succeed in the Hattrick Masters?
It gives you a huge advantage if you can build a team with homegrown players and you're doing everything well. That's an X factor. And I'll probably, when I'll start playing in the Hattrick Masters with the Sherlock, and I'll be facing teams like the Dude, with so much money and a great team. One of my advantage against him will be the homegrown bonus. He will not have this, although it's maybe only half a level compared to him. But if I'll have 3 players with homegrown bonus, half a level at players with like 19 playmaking, it gives you a lot of like training stats, and it's something worth like 100 to 150 HTMS points, potential points, ability points for a player. You could win without the homegrown bonus, but I was waiting for, I think, more than 15 or 10 seasons for a homegrown bunch of players before I started rebuilding Sherlock. Like, I did nothing. I was having fun. I had second
Yeah.
teams. I was waiting for them. And I probably, going all the way, wouldn't start without them.
Yeah, I would say that's actually the phase I'm in with my main team now. Is I'm waiting for some homegrown players to be able to really play. But yeah, I've gotten like 3 straight seasons of nothing, and like how long will it take, right? But I think
Keep
you either need
waiting.
to trade or you need homegrown players, right? Also, I was looking back at FC Holcim in that season he won, and yeah, he had a super kamikaze team. Like he was over 90% to win in 6 of the matches, and then the last 2 matches in the semis and the finals, he was 68% to win and 70% to win. So, I mean, if you have a team that strong that even in Hattrick Masters nobody can touch you, yeah, he must have spent a lot of money on that team.
Yeah.
And how many homegrown players would you recommend training to be successful and winning trophies? Because Valderrameira remembers the Hattrick Masters finalist with Tragagnan had both homegrown inners and forwards.
I think inner and forwards, it's difficult because any 2 positions will force an age gap. So this means the players are not getting to their peak at the same time. Unless you are playing in a smaller country and you could allow this and still dominate, that's great. So I would say if it's inner midfielders, you
We'll
could
go
have
now.
3, maybe
Or
4. I have 4.
maybe there were technical defensive power. I'm speaking without knowing, but that could work.
Yeah, but then only relying on defensive forwards and not normal forwards, because the build is quite different with attacking inner midfielder. You could do this. Probably it's also difficult to have enough good players with a specialty and so on. I would say inner midfielders 3 is awesome. If you have wingers and maybe inner midfielders towards the wing, it's almost their build almost the same. You could have 3 or 4 forwards, 3 um, goalkeeper 1 or 2.
What I would say let's say as a rule is that first you have to see that those homegrown players are really competitive and that you can match the training plans. Personally, I did have the luck that first I had 5 homegrown players with the HTM winner team, and it was because I have first 3 players that I could build as winger or inner towards wing, and after that 2 seasons or 3 seasons later, players to build as normal inners. So at the end, I made 2 or 3 seasons straight in winger, and the rest the normal inner training, and that gives you 5 homegrown players. As much as you can match training plans, have as much as homegrown players, but always starting with, let's say, 2,000 potential HTMS potentials, really competitive players with a specialty. Well, that will give you an edge.
We have this stats always provided by Nick about the most homegrown players in a team, and there's one team with 12. That's a lot, I think.
Nick, how much of those are long shot teams? I think Licker is long shot for
Yeah,
sure.
Leaker is for sure. Let me check on the other ones.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because
but
probably Longshot team could have a lot of homegrown players. All the players are built the same, unless you wanna go hybrid Longshot. Like we had a former Hattrick Masters winner playing a hybrid Gretna, but yeah, normal Longshots
yeah.
could have a big
No,
advantage.
Leaker's the only one. I think that some of them are probably just weaker backup players, though. I
Yeah.
think that, I'd have to look closer, but I think they probably have, you know, the the 16th player on the team is just a homegrown player that they've trained up a bit and isn't properly trained, right? It does seem though 12 or 11 is a lot, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should check for players with over 50K or 100K had TSI.
Or maybe I'll try to do adjustment that's something about minutes played, Although I guess if you buy a new player, it doesn't quite work, but TSI or minutes played. Anyway, okay, I've got to run. Sorry to cut it short from my side, but they won't go to sleep without me here, so I've got
No
being
problem at
called.
all.
Yeah. He wants to say hi. Any last items, Chase, that you wanted to bring up?
I'd like to highlight this comment.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nick
thank you.
Scare
Thanks,
of the future generations of future Hattrick Masters winners.
yeah, this guy's gonna start playing soon. He's not too long
Nice.
away.
You,
How old is he?
you can
7.
you can
7, that's a great
definitely
age.
have a lot of hat trick teams and say that they are from your kids, and you don't have to worry about.
I don't have enough time for 2 teams with these guys. So. All right.
Awesome.
Well, it was a lot of fun. Thanks, and hopefully we do this again, maybe later in
Yeah.
Hattrick Masters.
We must do this again. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers. Bye.
So about homegrown, do you think is there any chance ever for a fully homegrown team to reach Hattrick Masters?
Reach, yes. Win, no. Reach, small country, good plan. Frank from Spain did 3 articles about homegrown team building, and at one of them, he wanted to build a team that could reach 600 head stats in one match. That's it. And he came very, very close. And even without this, such a team could be strong enough in a small country. Definitely. Reaching the Hattrick Masters, you could do it.
But it's hard because you depend on your luck of pulling good players that will fit a training scheme. I mean,
Yeah. Even if you have good players, they will not all fit in a single plan. So they won't be built perfectly, but they will be built pretty fine overall. And even if some of the players are a bit weaker, some of them are a bit stronger, you could definitely have a team that plays 500 ad stats and above, and in a small country, snatching a cup or something like this, you could do it.
There's another question here that seems interesting. What would you choose if you have to pick just one? A highly experienced player, 30 experience, for example, or a hard bonus player? Without knowing the stats.
It's a great question. 30, like, experience is good not only for the nerve event, but experience actually gives you flat ratings. And 30 experience, I don't remember the
For
table.
experience, I think it's 1.5 multiplier. I think it's the same event that the homegrown player.
Yeah.
I think third experience is pretty
Yeah,
similar.
and I think 10 experiences maybe 1 or something like this.
10 is 1, and after that it starts
Yeah,
lowering its effect.
so it would be practically the same. And for this question, probably the 30 experience for the nerve event. But if your homegrown player has 20 experience or even 18, probably take the homegrown. It's also, you could never know. Will you have a nerve event if you want? I had matches in the cup that I was getting screwed. My team had over 10 levels of experience on average, more than my opponent, 12, 11 and I didn't get like I didn't force a negative nerve event on him, and I was out of the cup. So sometimes you just, even having a lot of experience, it will not happen. Just random. We need to accept this, so we could never know. By the way, another question there was from Rehovot Rangers. He's a friend and he's coming to the stream. I think he was asking, could you have a top level team without rebuilding and not trading? So you need to make money somehow. A friend of his actually spent 30 seasons in the Premier Division in Israel,
That's
and like 10 years. But he was skill trading, not normal trading, just training, and also he was using players as future coaches and then selling them and remaining a lot of value. So without making money in a medium-sized country, you probably cannot stay at the top for so long. But it depends how you defined trading. If you're just training, making some money, maybe. Like also he, like Rehovot Rangers, I think he's never gone to a rebuild. He's always skill trading defense, but it's training, it's not trading. And I think he never was below the third division. So you could say it's top divisions.
Mhm. And another question about set pieces. How much set piece should have a set piece taker for the Hattrick Masters against the best teams in the world, which have goalkeepers with 20 set pieces?
Great question. I'll give it to Tom.
I won the Hattrick Master with a 15 level in set pieces, and he scored a goal in the final. So, but that's personally. So don't take this as a rule. Personally, I do tend to lower the importance of set pieces in the build of a team, because I tend to to have an over development of other skills, the primary skills, playmaking, winger, and of course top players as forwards and defenders. And I tend always to lose both the direct and indirect set pieces scores. But my experience tells me that it's not that important.
I was speaking to Nick about this some time ago, because this question is really interesting to me on a national team level, and you could answer on a national team level as well. I think for not set piece taker, you still need some set pieces, and usually people say 10. What's the situation in Argentina? Do you take players with some set pieces, or it's like
Not,
not?
guys. We don't ask for that. Neither we do ask for. I'm revealing here some secrets, but okay, let's build knowledge across Hattrick. But we don't ask for a minimum level of set pieces, and we do neither ask for a minimum level of scoring for wingers and defenders in order to score a special event. We do focus on having monster guys in, if we are speaking of inners, in playmaking, passing, defending, and a little bit of scoring, winger in wing and playmaking. And we almost don't take any time for the trainers to build in set pieces. We use those weeks to ensure we are above the rest of the teams in key skills that can apply for all the match and not just for set pieces occasions. So that's our strategy.
I think that's one of the beautiful things in Hattrick. I didn't know that about Argentina, by the way. It's very, very informative and interesting.
In fact, if you check, and you can, and we can speak about this later, for the last two World Cups, we have lost every match in both the indirect, both the attacks and defense ratings in terms of indirect set pieces. and it has not affected us in
Yeah,
replays in our.
but you have monster players also, like, so it's
We do,
a
yeah.
method of approach. We have Salnas here asking us a question, a former Latvian coach, and when I was speaking to him, it was during master streams. He said, like, for us, we want 10 on all the players for indirect and attack and defense. It's a matter of approach. Very, very, very interesting. Some teams are saying the set piece taker must be 20, 22, 23, and that's a huge bonus. On the other hand, you could have a wing back of 18 defense, 18 wing, so that's massive as well. What do you prefer for national teams? Maybe if you set all the players in farm teams, you could say, I don't care. I want my inner midfielder to be 19 and a half playmaking, push him even more. And for a competitive team, you'll say, okay, I'll be crushed by salaries. So
Yeah, it does depend. It totally depends. In NT level is easier to build. In fact, for example, for me, Spain is a great example of what they do on the opposite side of us, which is they try to maximize not just their abilities, but also the scoring in special events,
for special
takers,
events, yeah, like wingers
and
and
wingers
scoring
and defenders,
like minimum.
and they do play. And I am pretty friend of the former NT coach of Spain, Maret, and they do take a lot of focus in set pieces. And at the end, the potential of both teams were pretty similar. This time we won because we had a better team spirit. But our focus is that focusing in the core abilities, and leaving that part of the game, which is a, let's say, third tier in terms of importance, not as a focus of our development plans.
Mhm. We have an interesting question. Destrello says, I've seen now Hastalavictoria's Hattrick Masters win, and it was with one in a midfield towards wing. So that could be a good way to say, Mish, can you show us some former Hattrick Masters finals? Because I think you have something ready for us, right?
Yeah, I do. So let's see.
And we can start by seeing, if you want, this victory by
No, we'll see him later.
Okay.
we'll let Tom wait a little bit. So I'm gonna wait a second, share my screen. Cool. So we are going back memory lane. Wait a second. Hattrick Masters. It's here. And we're going back to season 66. Just because Broskut won it twice in a row. So I just want to show some interesting facts about different finals. Tom, if you remember something interesting, you could say as well. But here it's year 2017. Broskut is playing against Fiorentina, and they destroyed them 7-2. We cannot show like ratings by minute. So when they did changes and formation changes, it's different, but the ratings are pretty high. We could see here Broskut, a very, very strong team. It's a second team, actually. Mariuska is one of the legendary managers in Hattrick. So it's his second team. He has a very nice team in Romania as well. So he managed to win this, as we could see here, very, very high ratings. Next season, he's going and playing against Bonga Bangladesh and winning again, this time 3-0. So he's one of the managers, the only managers to win the Hattrick Masters twice. We have him. We have Zagor. We'll have Tom in the future. And
well, I'm not part of that list because of Nick. We already know that.
Yeah, we know. And another thing that I wanted to mention, we'll see here when we are going through the different finals, that some of the teams are are participating not only consecutively, but they are coming back with a new build. Remember Fiorentina losing in 2017. So here it's Mahatma Memorial, a second team from India, and they are winning against a long shot team, Sancho Deluxe. Sancho Deluxe had a red card minute 30. Unfortunately, we cannot see how much did it influence, but probably, as far as I remember, not the midfield too much, because the red card was for a wing back. Not the first time, not the last time that we were gonna see a red card for a wing back in the Masters final. Leaders, strong team from Lithuania, losing to Uthugan in 2018, and the ratings that they were winning midfield, and it was an interesting counterattack formation from their opponent. Next season, the leaders are coming back. It's quite difficult to reach the final twice in a row. That's crazy. But here they have their redemption story. They are winning 4-2. Both teams started playing like more normal formation. It was 3-5-2 from the leaders, and they then in the lead they made a switch to a more defensive formation, securing the victory. Their midfield was higher at the beginning, but again, they played eventually more defensively. The Rodenburst. We were speaking about teams that have weird, interesting strategies. So here they are playing creative, and their creative tactical level was divine +6, like 26. That's pretty good. They lost this final to Spentrop from Denmark, if I'm not mistaken. And if we'll look at special events, the Rodenburg had 2 special events, scored 1, but eventually they lost this game. Next season, Centrup going to the final again, this time losing to St. Pauli. And 1 season later, the Rodenburg is back in the final, playing creative again, tactical level 26, 24, and they are winning this one to have their redemption story. Next season, Corinthians Mozambique, a Brazilian manager, that's his second team. He built a massively strong team, and he was one of the dominating teams in the Hattrick Masters this season. 616 hat stats.
Wow.
So that was pretty high ratings, and we were all in awe of this. A year 2020. He didn't need to go like for a more attacking formation. He started standard. He scored and eventually won. Next season we had Gretna. First time that we are seeing a hybrid long shot team. So Gretna was a strong long shot team that could play also normal formation, and in the final they chose a normal formation. It was like no long shot tactic, and that was pretty innovative. Mihai Tzach, that's the manager from Romania. Next season, it's Caesars 4-2. That's the season that Black Sabbath reached the quarterfinal and I was screwed. And Caesars 4-2 was the only team that I felt that might have a small edge against me from the teams that qualified for the semifinal. I also, Dundee Tasmania had a super strong long shot team from Venezuela, his second team, but he got screwed in the quarterfinal as well. So Caesars 4 winning this, and he had a red card for a wingback. Looking at the final ratings, he had a red card minute 32, and playing a player down for almost the whole game, the average ratings for him were slightly better. So he had a very, very strong team then, and he managed to win. Here we are reaching a very, very interesting final. Okay. So, Los Sureños, one of the strongest teams in Hattrick history, and probably the strongest team ever to never win the Hattrick Masters, reaching the final.
Probably, and the one of the unluckiest team, I will also say.
Yeah. On the other hand, could you say someone is unlucky reaching the final? Um, so you need some luck to not get screwed.
You do, but next season after this one,
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
lost some incredible game, and the next in 680, I remember. In fact, we chat a lot with him because he reached the semifinals.
I know. He was
Quarterfinals.
always in the streams. What was
And he
interesting?
told me that there was some incredible matches with Los Sureños.
So I remember this match. It was very interesting. He was playing against Unico Grande Amore, an Italian team, and the Italian manager did a mistake lowering the training intensity. He didn't do this on time, and he screwed up his his team spirit before the final. He wanted to play for midfield. He screwed up the training intensity trick, and he was forced to play a counterattack. He played an extreme counterattack with no defense at all, with no midfield at all, and doing a man marking from an inner midfielder position to not lower his tactical level in counterattack. So his counterattack was divine plus 25, and the overall ratings. Los Sureños prepared for a midfield battle. He prepared for a midfield battle, and he like he did the swap to a 2-5-3 all attack formation only at minute 81. That was quite late. I thought that he should do this later. Amazing ratings for him. He was still massively favored in the replays, but he was not prepared for a counterattack, and Nico Grande Amore won. Next season, okay, this is probably the match we were waiting for.
This one. I do remember this one, I think.
Yeah. So we have inner midfielder towards the wing.
But to the response of the question that we did have, if you can go back to the lineup, Mish, you can see that I did have an offensive wing back, which used to play as inner tower wing in the rest of the tournament. That's because I didn't have a great third forward. I knew that I was playing against a counter attack team, but I could not play great with a 2-5-3. So that's why I decided to put my the second inner tower wing as an offensive forward, as an offensive wing back, to have that significantly strong wing attack.
Yeah, and speaking about different metas of play, inner midfielders towards the wing is one of the positions that give you the most amount of head stats, because you are giving up not so much midfield, but getting crazy amount of wing attack. On the other hand, you could argue that teams seeing this and seeing someone playing with two inner midfielders maxing his ratings don't always win games. So it's more important to have the right replays. So someone watching this could say, okay, you play with two inner midfielders towards the wing, so you are lowering twice the inner midfielder, like the possession, and also you are lowering your center attack. So you could focus less defense on the center attack, maybe play a 3-5-2 with one center defender towards the wing. So you're giving up one wing defense, but straightening up the other. Your opponent has only two wing attacking side. Now he has only one, and you are taking midfield control. So different metas, it depends on the preparation, but there are a lot of strategies.
Nonetheless, remember, first, all of these players were homegrown. Two, they were basically the inner tower wing were built with an excess in playmaking. They almost reached 19 level. The level of winger was less, was nearly 16. I tend to put the wings toward the middle, and what helps a lot in HTM is the team confidence. Mostly if you play at small countries.
Yeah.
So not this season, but the season after this one, the season 79, I had a team which had nearly 18 in defense average. Well, a really strong midfield, but my attack levels were above 20 in the wings and above 16 in the center. So, and I was playing with a technical defensive forward in order to boost midfield. So it's a really, really hard to stop tactic. This one of a 3-5-2 with two wingers toward wing and two wings toward middle. And
Yeah.
the greatness of it is that it's a really great tactic to build a homegrown team, because you can build the wingers first and after that the inners. That's a real shame of the game.
A year after you, it was an interesting final between Viajapura Vipers and Smoking Nickarana. Smoking Nickarana, a long shot team, a pure long shot team, not a hybrid long shot team. There was another controversial issue with Viajapura Vipers. Their very famous Mek Votava, a German manager, his account was closed after the final, but he was allowed to come back. I think he did come back, and he is a super nice guy. I know him. We won't go into the controversial issues, but I was playing against him in previous seasons in the Hattrick Masters, so he's a great guy. Los Sureños coming back to the final and losing this team. I think Goigun is a Spanish manager, a second team of a Spanish manager, and again, massive ratings, 560 head stats after two men marking. This is above 600 head stats. He lost midfield here because his opponent man marked an inner midfielder and he man marked a winger. But you could never know eventually. Very, very favorite in the replays. Unlucky again. Los Sureños losing two finals. Here it's another interesting story, and maybe we'll finish with this. We'll see, but this Imperiatenia, I don't like long shot teams too much because it's like playing hat tracks. It's like riding a bike with training wheels. You get your team confidence destroyed, doesn't concern you. Other different small things, but some managers do play long shot teams not because they need the help, but because they want the challenge. Imperiatenia, a pure long shot team, came to this final, did the coach trick, swapped their defensive coach, and played a normal formation, completely surprising their opponent, using nice attack ratings for a pure long shot team. 15 and a half midfield with massive 19 playmaking, and they allowed their opponent to put so much effort in producing attack ratings, especially 21 center attack, and they played with no defense at all. That was very innovative from this long shot team, but unfortunately it came to it came to penalties, and Darth Thanos.
And a long shot losing by penalties. That's another outlier.
Yeah, but I think Darth Thanos had like very experienced team.
He had. There were Guatemalan players. They have about 20 experience.
Yeah. Also, Dr. Destiny from from Guatemala. Makala, we need to speak about this. He is back to the Hattrick Masters. This is the team that he built around his homegrown goalkeeper. That's the homegrown goalkeeper. He'll be 34 this season. super strong goalkeeper, and that was nice to see. He won this almost like 2.5 a year and a half ago. In hat-trick terms, it's like 4 seasons. So the goalkeeper was only 29-year-old, a build around a goalkeeper. Fiorentina, the first loser that we spoke about today in 2017, is coming back in 2023 to win against Hadar, a super strong Bulgarian team that I was rooting for. Is a friend that I just happened to know from the game, and also Fiorentina. They usually had very very high attack ratings. Hadar went for a like normal formation, and he man marked the forward. Fiorentina man marked an inner midfielder, played with strong attack. The overall replays, if I remember correctly, were in favor of Hadar, but it was a screw up. He had a very strong team. He reached the final once, but played on a top level for several seasons, and he really wanted to win this one. Here, the luckiest team ever in the Hattrick Masters history was Tractor Stalingrad. I think this team won the Hattrick Masters being underdog in 6 or 7 of his games. And the final is just to show this. By the way, Express Road, Italian manager, massive trader, did the special, I'm gonna sell all my team before the final, use the money to straighten up my team even more. Tractor didn't care. This Spanish manager, I don't know, he stole all the lucky charms from Ireland maybe, but no one ever had this much amount of luck. He didn't even had a top team. He had a nice Hattrick Masters team, nothing special. Look at those ratings. 471 hat stats. Some teams have 100 stats more with 2-man markings. But again, he had enough luck. He won it. He didn't say, "Oh, I had a great strategy" or something. He said, "I'm lucky. I'm doing my best. I'm lucky." That's it. He won. That's pretty special. Then Obo Pirates, he won and is playing in the Hattrick Masters again. This finalist also is playing in the Hattrick Masters, and that's it. We came to this edition. No, we of course had the Zagor win as well.
It's impressive. I'm really surprised at the last match you showed. Like he was losing in every single part of the field except on his right defense by just a little margin. I mean,
I would tell you one thing. Look at the other matches he had in this Hattrick Masters campaign. They were worse. Some of them were worse.
Okay, we will do that. Okay, guys. So thank you. I mean, I think we can stop here. I mean, we've been like for almost 2 hours now, so I cannot.
By the way, I think we could mention you made a Toto bet.
Yes, I did.
Maybe we'll post this for everyone to feel.
Yeah, we'll post it in the forum, maybe in the Global English Forum. We made a Toto bet to guess the winner of the top 10 matches of the first round of the Hattrick Masters. So we'll post it in the Global English Forum, and you can guess the winner in, I guess, less than 2 days. Yeah, before Monday, let's say noon Hattrick time. Okay, so thank you guys. Thanks to Nick as well and his children.
Definitely.
And well, thanks everyone, all the viewers
Chase,
that have.
thank you, Tom. Thank you, Nick, as well. It was a pleasure, and for all our great community. Hopefully, you enjoyed our stream, and we could do more things like this. And
Yeah,
let's
And
enjoy
time-
a great hat-trick campaign.
Yeah.
And
And
time
another-
passed flying. It was almost 2 hours, but it felt like half an
yeah,
hour.
it was really great to have you guys. Okay, guys. So there was a question before saying if we would do something like that for matches. We will see. We will see. I think maybe Mish, you will do some live stream for matches on your
No
channel.
promises, but we'll see. If there will be something from Hattrick, maybe. But also Pablo will be streaming in Spanish, I'm sure. I'll try to stream if I'll have the time in English. So definitely.
Mhm.
Do the
Yeah.
do the timing the Hattrick Master time remains?
Yeah, the Monday early
Early
time
Monday.
for
Yeah.
now.
For now, yes. At least this season.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. And see you soon in the next.
It was a pleasure. Great
Hattrick.
evening.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.